got to have you on my show again. I'm serious, Raven. This is beautiful. I love it. Listen, let's talk more. Let's talk. This is really, in all seriousness, this stuff is important because all people see is the superficial stuff on television, the propaganda, whether it's Republican or Democratic side. What we're talking about is extremely important because why you are the perfect candidate, and I hate to say because of your color and all the other nonsense, but you're intelligent, you're a business owner, you're a veteran, you're a constitutionalist, you're a conservative, you're a God-fearing woman. They should be begging you to run.
Thank you. Absolutely agree. Because that's what it basically is about, is I have the frontline perspective. Nobody can tell you what racism is like. Nobody can tell you what it's like to operate a business. You have to know. Nobody can tell you what's going on with CRT. I have kids, school-age children in schools. That's how because I'm already fighting. While people are saying I'm going to fight, I'm already fighting. So I just need to take it and protect everybody's kids instead of just mine.
I have an interesting question to ask you.
Yes,
I know that
absolutely.
you're against. I know that you're against CRT. But when you brought up CRT,
yes,
I never thought about the impact it would have on mixed racial kids.
Yes,
a more dramatic effect. Now, for people that don't know, my friend Raven is in a biracial marriage. She has biracial kids. I never thought that would have a greater impact on biracial kids than it would independently on a black kid or a white kid. Am I a victim or am I an oppressor? And then, that's really sad.
It's ridiculous, and it's not only confusing, but it's damaging because my two children, I don't know if you have a picture up there, one of them is very fair and light complected, and the other one is more like me.
Mm-hmm.
So their experiences are even entirely different on that. We have walked into a school, Chauncey, true story, walked into a school, and the teacher said, do you want to talk about your dad's white privilege, with us standing there? And that's what people are wondering what Unleash the Raven means. Well, she's the first one who got a good look at it. So I'm telling you that this is what's going on, and we have moved with the military. We've moved to different schools. We've tried the best schools. We live in the best neighborhoods. It makes no difference. It's everywhere. So I'm just telling you, and then that's what they're doing now. And the pushback, like I said, is to keep me out of the Capitol because they don't want me to destroy this. But we should not be teaching hate. We should not be tearing down statues. There is absolutely no historical benefit because those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. So we're tearing down our history, and that doesn't change it or erase it. So we have to have common sense and God come back to the Capitol. We were a better country when people respected and feared God. And now the Democrats seem to fear nothing, and that's indicative of how far we have slid.
It is sad.
So we've got all the C's. We've got all the deafening C's: Pelosi, AOC, and CRT. All of them. They all have one thing in common. They want to judge me by the color of my skin, but not the color of my politics.
Raven, you still have me stuck on. There got to be a breathalyzer installed at the podium.
And Chauncey, you actually think I'm kidding about that, but I'm just saying we
have
to.
No.
We
it's
have
sad
to get it
because
right.
I know she's an alcoholic.
So
go ahead, I'm sorry.
We're all questioning the same thing, so why don't I just take that leap as congressman and find out? So that's what. So Chauncey, get the popcorn ready. I'm not kidding.
Listen, I'm gonna get the popcorn. I'm gonna get me some Pepsi. Listen, I want to do another show with you. I'm serious.
Anytime, Chauncey. Let's light it up. Because we got to get our base fight. We can win this. We can do this. But we have to bring common sense and not let them. These are Democrat tactics, and they don't want us to succeed. They want us to fail. We can do this, conservatives and Republicans. They'll get in line. Courage is contagious. Courage is contagious.
Amen.
So I am
and
trying
they definitely
to do it.
And they definitely don't want people like you and me in the mix.
They definitely don't. But I'm telling you, they
don't.
They need to recognize this here. It's coming. So only the voters determine if they're going to let this be the hill we die on. But I have to give you one last one because I say this in a lot of my speeches, but it's true, Chauncey. I mean, that object in your mirror that's closer than it appears is communism. And if we don't do something now, this is not a drill. We have to take our country back, and before we can occupy the house, we have to clean it.
Amen. 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 I'm not normally lost for words, but I'm extremely humbled. No, listen, Raven. Listen, I love this show. I love my guests even more on my show.
I love this
you make the show.
Too, I love this show too.
And this is what my show is about. It's just having a conversation with me. You know, in a way, I'm glad that we didn't get to policy issues because the politics of the day, the people really need to hear about what's going on behind the scenes, how great candidates like you are being affected by the establishment Republicans. And it's happening to all candidates. I speak to candidates all over the country, as you know, and it's sad. It's like that's a pandemic that we need to eradicate.
You are spot on. And see, they've got us distracted. You know, while Biden is busy with the destruction of our country, they have us worrying about this other stuff, but they just like to feign this outrage over the headlines. We have a lot of things. We have a war on many fronts. And if we're going to change the message, we have to change the messenger.
Listen, we have a few more minutes left. You know, I know that you're well-versed in national security, foreign policy.
Yes. Yes.
Are there a couple things that you'd like to touch on? You know, I'll have you back on that we can elaborate only on policy. But if you can talk about a couple things, I mean, you know, there's a lot of critical issues. And, of course, foreign policy, we have the Ukraine, we got China, we got Iran, we got the Middle East. You know, we got the border crisis. You know, what say you?
Well, I tell you what, then let me do a quick lightning round because what I want your viewers and your listeners to understand is we have to start putting verbs in our sentences. So what am I actually going to do about this? Well, money has already been appropriated for the border wall. We have to collect our resources. We have to finish the wall. We have to stop. We're paying a penalty in upwards, I believe the last information I had is $5 million a day that we're paying for every day because we broke a contract to not complete that border wall. So we need to also put the National Guard and deploy every resource to securing the border and tossing out the ones who are coming in here illegally and have broken our laws. Right now we have the Guard down there and they don't have live clips in their ammo. It's for show. So they're not allowed to engage. They're being shot at, but they can't shoot back. So we need to get the legislative authority in, deploy the National Guard, secure the border, deport people who are here illegally. As far as the crippled economy, we need to get back to the Trump-era tax cuts, revive our economy, restart our pipelines, become energy independent again, like we were just 2 short years ago. And we have to get people back to work. We don't mask, muzzle, or mandate. There's no such thing about forcing people to mandate because that's my job in Congress is oversight, and mandates are not laws. Neither are edicts and executive orders. So we need to get back, and the way you deal with that is you do not comply. Rosa Parks didn't set herself on fire. She simply said no. That's how it's done. So I want to let people know that it's not just a doom and gloom, but we also have a threat on the horizon of the 5G, and it's interfering with airlines and commercial airlines frequencies. I'm married to a pilot. This is a big problem that nobody's talking about. So this is all these things have been allowed to go into the waste bin while we're all outraged over somebody not wearing 6 masks in public. It has to stop, and you need somebody who's going to have a plan and can address these issues.
Amen. Thank you so much, Raven Harrison, for stepping up to the plate, you know, and running, speaking truth to power.
I'm
Please
doing
share
my
with my
always
audience.
will, Chauncey.
Listen, I love this show. I'm going to have you back on. The next time we're going to go live Zoom
Yay.
and do an interview. Of course, that'll be a little, like 20 minutes, but that'll be a little bit more scripted to questions and answer, for policy, just because of the time frame. But anyway, please share with my audience if they want to donate, volunteer, contact you. Please, your website, please share that information with my listeners.
Okay, so for all the listeners, thank you for taking the time. Please reach out. My website is ravenharrison.com, and you can donate on the site. You can get involved. You can sign up to be a volunteer, put up a sign, and just support us in a bunch of ways. On all social media, I am Raven, the number 4, Congress. So it's Raven for Congress on all social media. And I just want to remind the listeners that the eyes of the world are on America, and the eyes of America are on Texas. The eyes of Texas are on races like mine. They cannot take the country unless they take Texas. And we are fighting back. It starts when we decide.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show, Raven. God bless you. God bless your family. We will keep you in prayer. You're listening to the Chauncey Show. We're always right and never left. We were honored, proud, and blessed to have in the studio U.S. congressional candidate for Texas 26th District, Raven Harrison, American First Patriot. She's a fireball. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, she's going to get things done. And you saw how she started off. She went right into the problem, talked about it, dissected within the party, which is critical. Because if you can't get help from within your party and you're trying to move forward, she's doing something right. Ladies and gentlemen, we need everybody to stand up to push back against the establishment, right and left. We need candidates that are God-fearing, that are going to speak the truth to power, and who are constitutionalists like Raven. These are the type of candidates that America needs right now. We're in dire straits on all fronts, foreign and domestic. If we're going to save our country, we need candidates like Raven in office. I know my followers are listening, but please talk to someone else. We must get the word out. We all have a role to play in the success of Raven's election and everyone else. We have social media. We could pick up the phone, ladies and gentlemen. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. This is the most critical election in our nation's history. We saw what they did with our President Donald Trump. We have to take back the House and the Senate and take back our country. Okay, up next on Thursday, we have another veteran from New Jersey coming into the studio. We have Mike Blasey running for Congress in New Jersey. He's going to be in the studio. I tell you, these veterans that are running for office, man, they're ready to go, man. They talk like they're like, even Raven, like they're on the battlefield, ready to go, and they're tested. See, veterans are tested, and they believe in the Constitution. They know what it is. When they swear their oath to the office of the Constitution, they're putting their life on the line. That's the difference between a veteran and a politician, ladies and gentlemen. See, I was blessed and proud to grow up by a veteran. My father was a Navy veteran, as all my followers know. And I always say I'd rather have gone into the military than being raised by a veteran. But that's why I'm a patriot today, because I was raised by a veteran. I was taught by a veteran. I was taught respect. I was taught the Constitution. I was taught respect the flag. I was taught statesmanship, civil responsibility, civic duty. My parents lived it. They demonstrated it. And I followed in their footsteps. Everybody, if we're going to save our nation, it's going to take all of us to come together and fight this fight on all fronts. Wherever we see wrong, we have to push back against it. We have to. We cannot stay silent. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Chauncey Show tonight. We're every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7. Make sure you tune in on Thursday for Mike Blasey. He's a veteran. And also for those that who did not have a chance to write down Raven's information, her link to her website will be on the bio description of the blog of the podcast, as well as a slideshow of her family. She has a beautiful family. We put a slideshow together for her so you can see her beautiful family, her husband, the retired pilot major, and her beautiful daughter and son, in the slideshow. But, you know, we have to be thankful, all of us, for all of these candidates that are stepping up. We have to get behind them. I don't care where you live in the country. All of these candidates